All right, there we go. Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome to the 13th hour where we go and dive into the criminal justice system and the craziness that our world is and the unfairness that it is. Our world has never been fair and will never be fair. People are going today to rally in 5 hours, I think ish, around 5 hours, 6 hours, something like that. No, maybe 4 hours, because it's 5 o'clock Missouri time, right? So 4 hours my time. People are going to rally because they think Nick did not get a fair trial, and they're going to fight to get Nick a fair trial. The thing is there's a few things about this case that is not going to matter, okay? Because first of all, when a crime happens, such as this, when a crime happens, somebody's going to pay for that crime. Somebody did the crime, somebody's going to pay for it. And unfortunately, they got Nick to confess right away to the whole entirety of the thing. And his confession, as you watch, if you watch Nick Godejohn's interview with Stephanie, we could play that if you guys want. You can see how Stephanie just sits there kind of defeated because the officer says, well, Nick admitted it. And everything Nick is saying is matching the crime scene. So we have our man. And when you have your man, well, because the United States says that you get it, even if you confess to be guilty, you still deserve a trial. And a trial is, if you're guilty, then the trial is deciding how long you go away to prison. So the jurors sit there and they listen to the story and they decide, do we ever want to let this person out in society again? And Nick, I said this before in one of my past streams. So let me check the chat. I haven't looked to see if anybody's chatting. Not only did Nick admit to it, he said, if I had to do it all over again, well, I'd just do it differently. He's not remorseful enough to say, I wouldn't unalive such a sweet person. He would. What are you supposed to do when your defendant is sitting there saying, well, that jailhouse interview he did damned him in court when he talked about his choice between the devil and the angel on his shoulder, right from wrong, knowing right from wrong, sitting on his shoulder. It proved he knew what he was doing. He knew it was wrong. And he's not remorseful. He says he feels guilty. I don't know why, because he's not guilty enough that he wouldn't do it again. He wishes she was alive and well. No, he said he would have just done it differently. And so, how do you deal with a defendant that says, yes, I did it? I did it so that my girlfriend could live with me. I mean, it wasn't like they were fighting over Gypsy and he tried to pull Gypsy out the door and she was pulling Gypsy in and holding a knife to Gypsy or something, or a gun or something, or, you know, putting Gypsy's life in danger and saying, no, Gypsy can't leave with you. And he had to do what he had to do to get her literally out of there. This woman was asleep. It was heavily premeditated. Kind of. See, the plans on the phone they were making when Gypsy said, hey, hun, I'm in 1000%. Okay, so you can't believe everything Becca Scoops puts out, because Becca Scoops just did a video. They'll probably be mad at me for not exactly agreeing with him, because she left some crucial information out. If you leave info out, this could have helped Nick be innocent. But leaving this out, is it this one? It's got to be this one. Hold on. I got to get this working. Come on, connect. Okay. Whoops. Come on. What? You were connected for like a second. Saw the battery on it. Come on, connect. If you don't connect it right when it wants to be connected, it's a pain in the butt. Okay, here we go. Okay. We're going to go over a little bit of this. Because this is kind of crucial information.
The last thing I wanted to say, she wants a baby.
What?
I can tell, bro.
I don't know. Where does this come from?
I don't know. I'm going to tell both of y'all. Just wait, okay?
Gypsy Rose Blanchard says a doctor warned her about fertility issues, so her pregnancy came as a shock. Just the latest twist in her sensational life.
How do you feel?
Yeah, by the way, I went up on panel a couple of times, three months ago or something, when Gypsy first announced her pregnancy, and I said, okay, so when Gypsy got out of prison, yes, they did some filming and they went to New York and stuff. And then for a few weeks, they didn't do any filming at all when they got back from New York. Because how they film these shows is a crew doesn't sit there every day, every waking morning with Gypsy and follow her around. They say, okay, Gypsy, what's your schedule? Okay, we're going to film on these days and we're going to follow your activity on these days. There are days where Gypsy obviously is not filming. And why? How can you tell? Well, one, she's flirting with Ken. She's probably having phone schmecks with Ken in early February. We didn't see Valentine's Day, did we? Did they portray Valentine's Day? I mean, the film crew wasn't even there when Gypsy filmed Ryan on her phone. She gave her phone film to the crew and they added that in. Because Gypsy can film and add things in. And so anyways, there are many, many days, weeks, whatever, where there is no filming going on. And Ryan handed Gypsy on her phone. He set up Uber to his PayPal and said, just don't go to Lafayette. It cost too much. Gypsy had freedom to wander, to go where she needed to go. She had freedom to go to the doctors. I think while she was with Ryan, and I've been saying this since around the time she announced her pregnancy, that she went as soon as she no from the day one she announced her pregnancy and talked about going to the fertility clinic. Because here's the thing, I have been through infertility checks. I know how they go. You don't just walk into your doctor's office and half an hour later, at the end of the appointment, they know what's wrong and they hand you a pill. No, it takes a few visits. It takes time. Okay? So this didn't just happen a couple days before Jazz Fest. And Gypsy's like, okay, it's a couple days before Jazz Fest. I gotta go get some pills. No, she's been going since she got out of prison on non-filming days. She's either walking or Ubering it or getting a ride. And maybe even Christy is taking her to these fertility treatments. Maybe even Christy's coming down to Lake Charles for the day or something. And that's what Christy hates. I mean, nobody wants to drive 3 hours and then drive somebody around to doctor's offices and then drive 3 hours home. I know how that 3-hour drive feels too. So I know how this goes. I wouldn't want to do it either. But she was free to Uber around. Therefore, she's been doing this. And now people are kind of talking about it, but they're trying to figure out, well, when did Gypsy start going to the doctors? She had to go immediately as soon as any free time she got. I bet she was going, okay, how do I make a baby? How do I make a baby? She was probably Googling it. And she went to her doctors and she's been, because she got pregnant at the end of March, 3 months after she got out of prison. Yeah, she's been going since February. You don't just go, you don't just leave Ryan at, no, she got pregnant at the end of April. You don't just leave Ryan at the end of March and within 30 days have your fertility treatments done in less than 30 days, know the problem, and boom, it's solved, and bam, you're pregnant. That's some quick work. That's a miracle doctor if you can do that, by the way. Okay, now what was I looking for? Let's see. What do they talk about? Let's see.
To spend the weekend with Rod, Gypsy pretends to be incensed. This bombshell on Ryan.
Are you happy?
Yes.
Okay, hold on.
Attempting to do it mainly for someone that she had an infatuation with, and well, she found out later that it was just infatuation, but yet and do it.
Did to take her mother's life twice before she ever knew Nicholas Godejohn.
Since she had warned me that she's tried it twice before, and
if you don't know the Gypsy Rose case, you don't know that Nick's talking about Dan right now. He's talking about Dan.
she's only mentioned one of this time.
And she tried to poison her mom, but the problem is her mom just slept for a couple of days and woke up. She was too scared to do it, so she didn't do enough.
Infatuation with, but yet it's very sad.
So Dee Dee's demise was always the goal, just a way to manipulate Nick into doing the deed.
Now, she says, darling, I'm 1000% in with the plan. Okay, hold on. I'm getting there. Come on. First, you got to get through them making fun of you. No, I'm just kidding. They do. They make fun of you first. Order your detective kit now. Oops. Come on, I know it's in here. Come on, I know you guys put it up. Because here's this, okay? So this is from MPG Cornerstone Nation. Now, I'm not a huge fan of them either, guys. I'm not a huge fan of MPG Cornerstone Nation. However, just because you're not a fan of them does not mean you have to discredit their information that they give. And here is a map of the neighborhood. This is Gypsy's house right here. You see where everybody kind of lives. Leah doesn't live exactly across the way. She lives in one of these houses, like diagonally across the way. They talk about the weather that night. See, these guys go into deep depth about everything that was going on. Yes, there was 4 sheds on the property. Said that before. Oh, they're making fun of the Good Wives Network. Not I thought this was Natasha Cooper. That's funny. I have proof but can't share. Because they're talking about the sheds and how different people could have pulled up to those sheds and stuff. And that's what that the tire tracks on the front lawn don't have to be Dan's. And neither does the cigarette butts. Maybe it's on the other one. Other video. Maybe. Huey. Okay, maybe it's this video I was looking for. These guys rudely go into depth. They make videos like Becca Scoops, but they're a little bit more louder and rude about how they do it. Okay, so here we go. In NPG Cornerstone Nation's plan, they have plan A, B, C, D, and E. Becca Scoops has plan A, B, and C, which were to get pregnant, to run away, and the deed. She left out plan A and plan E. And she left out half of plan B. She only told you half the story of plan B. Because you remember the video where Gypsy, oh, hey, Chewies, meet me. You remember the video where Gypsy made the video where she was doing the jabbing motions and showing Nick the outline of her house? Well, she made Nick another video.
Alright, so this is my house right here. I'm videotaping again with my phone to try to show you the best.
They were planning on getting pregnant the night of June 9th when Nick came down. Don't know why they wanted to get pregnant at the house and not the hotel. I think Gypsy was under the impression that she bought the hotel room for Nick and she wasn't allowed in there, but you're allowed in people's hotel rooms. It's not a big deal. You order a hotel room, you can sleep a couple people to it. We've slept like 8 people to a hotel room before. It was horrible. Like 3 of us on each bed and a couple on the floor. It was the worst night of my life ever. Didn't get any sleep. And so here's Gypsy.
There's like grassy patch right here, and there's a farm right next door. So even if we wanted to do it like in their yard, we could. because that's very far away and she would
So
never...
here's the problem with leaving out this half of Plan G. Even though you hate NPG Cornerstone Nation, you can't forget when Gypsy talks about I'm all in for the plan, babe. She doesn't say plan A, plan B, plan C. She says I'm 100% in. Because on the text messages, yes, they talk about no, I'm pregnant, no, I'm not. If I get my feeding tube out, will it help get pregnant? And they're talking about the feeding tube and pregnancy, but they're so vague and they're so unclear that all we can do is speculate with the information we have. Now, this video, there are people like Fancy and Natasha Cooper who have been on the case for a very, very, very long time. And until 2 weeks ago, on October 2nd, nobody knew this video existed. So how can you say that in the text messages, when Gypsy says, I am 1,000% in, babe, that she is talking about, what plan is she talking about? Is she talking about calling the police? Is she talking about the deed? Is she talking about running away? Is she getting brave, going, I can do this, honey. I'm in for the plan. I'm in for plan C. I'm going to do this. Because is she psyching herself up to just run away? Because she's ran away before. Because at this point, they have tried part of plan B. They haven't tried plan A as far as I know. Maybe they have, maybe they haven't. They've had Nick talk to Dee Dee on the phone. We know that Gypsy constantly bragged about getting pregnant with Nick to Aaliyah and everybody. That she constantly bragged about the kids they would have. And their names. So, when she says, I'm 1,000% with the plan, are you 1,110% sure? What plan Gypsy's talking about to Nick? Because Nick doesn't even know. She doesn't even show the next text that Nick gives Gypsy, which is he has no idea what plan either. We don't have any idea what plan, and neither does Nick. And Nick's in on the plans. So if Nick doesn't know the plan, then how can we say we know the plan? So there is crucial information that Nick thought the plan was either run away with Gypsy or get Gypsy pregnant. Because on the text messages, when she says the plan, he says, what, do you want me to get you pregnant again, hon? Because in his mind, that's the plan, is pregnancy, not the deed. Oh, we don't need this stupid expert to say this. I already said this crap.
Of Gypsy Rose Blanchard's pregnancy announcement and her fertility issues.
Now she's already talked about something that strikes me as rather fascinating, is that she had gone into her OBGYN and was searching after fertility treatments, which you search after those fertility treatments to ovulate if you're wanting to have a child. So then that line of phrasing alone, that already discredits this was an unplanned pregnancy, because she was going in for medical reasons to try to boost her fertility, which logical processing kind of demands, why would you do that except for if you're wanting to be fertile to have a baby, which now she's having.
See, that's what I've already explained in depth. She's been doing this. Yep, 1,101%. Because you cannot for sure say, you know, and then she was wondering, does Big Bend have a hospital? Because she wants to get pregnant and be close to a hospital. Because right now, it sounds like the plan is pregnancy, not schmurder to me right now. Somehow, see, do you want me to get you pregnant again? And Gypsy is half not even paying attention to what Nick's saying. She's talking about her tube and pregnancy. Part of me is really worried about my tube. What if I could have it taken out being pregnant? Because what Gypsy's talking about is her mom won't let her take out the tube, and Nick's coming to get her pregnant. And so, can she get the tube taken out while she's pregnant? If she tells the doctor, I'm pregnant, will they take out the tube? There is more thinking behind this text. Besides, because to me, what this sounds like is this is the pregnancy plan. Let's get pregnant, hun. I'm 1,000% in with the plan. And then she sends an instructional video where to get pregnant, which Becca leaves out. Why? Because she doesn't like NPG Cornerstone Nation. I saw Becca and Morbid on his panel. They did not like the video. They streamed the same night that NPG Cornerstone Nation did. And they put the video down because they didn't even believe that the video was correct, because it was put out by MPG Cornerstone Nation. It was not put out by them, and therefore they did not believe it. Okay, is he? What date was it? It was the 2nd. Trying to see if I can find a video from the 2nd. October 6th, that's 2. No, that's September 30th. They hadn't come out with it yet. This one? No, how did I go to a month ago all of a sudden? Okay, what? Okay, how did I get to a month ago? Let's get to 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks, 11 days, 13 days ago. One of these. Maybe it's this one. October 4th, it could be this one. Okay, not that one. It must be the one before it. No, this is before. Okay, hold on a sec. Come on. 2 weeks ago. Gotta be this one then. Okay, it could be this day. Okay. Maybe not this day. It's got to be the one right before this one then. Because this one's October 6th. This is 4 days after it comes out. Oh gosh, I hate finding this stuff again. Okay, the one. How do I go after this one? Gypsy Rose TikTok drama Katie Joy returns. This would go back. It has to be this one. I'm combing through it. I can't find it. Which one? October 4th. Okay, it has. Then it's got to be this one because this one was on October 2nd. Or no, this is September 30th. This is after, I think. Because they posted it on October 2nd. Why can't I ever find them again? Oh my gosh. It's like I know the videos are there. Do they get deleted or something? Wonder if NPG Cornerstone Nation made them delete it because it had their video in it. Maybe. Maybe they made them get it deleted. So, anyways, I think it's important information. Even though I'm not a huge fan of NPG Cornerstone Nation. Okay, I'm not a huge fan of the way they talk to. I'm not a huge fan. the way they talk and manipulate and yell at their clients, and they're very rude. I don't even know how they have people following them still. Probably because they have a direct line to Nick, and it's our only direct line to Nick because apparently NPG Cornerstone Nation, once again, is being run by Chaos Sector, guys. I showed proof why it's being run by Chaos Sector. Because I watch everybody still guess who's running NPG Cornerstone Nation. It's Chaos Sector, guys. It's not Natasha Cooper. It's not Fancy. It's not anybody that knows this case really well. It is Chaos Sector. But I was watching some YouTube videos. Now we're going to get into the fictional realm here. Spoiler warning if you've never seen Game of Thrones. But Game of Thrones is a wonderful kind of sort of what it feels like to be in court.
Please don't.
I am a whore. Remember? That was before he married Sansa. After that, all he wanted was her. But she wouldn't let him in her bed. So he promised to kill King Joffrey for her.
Father, I wish to confess.
So this is how court kind of goes. You stand there as people get up there and they say partial truths and lies. Truth is, yes, she was a whore. Truth is, yes, she was with Tyrion until she married Sansa. And then he couldn't be with anybody because he was married to Sansa. And he didn't want to betray Sansa. So that's the truth. However, she's twisting all of these truths to make him look like a horrible, horrible little man. And this is how it goes. Defendant after defendant after, not defendant. Witness after witness after witness. You sit there in your defendant chair and you watch the prosecution bring up witnesses against you. And all you can do is sit there and do nothing. You can't take it. You can't do anything about it. You can't do nothing about it. You sit there and it builds inside of you till you get to this point where Tyrion is right now. This is what you feel like every day you want to do in court. This is what court feels like.
I wish to confess.
You wish to confess?
I saved you. I saved this city and all your worthless lives. I should have let Stannis kill you all.
Tyrion! Do you wish to confess?
Yes, Father. I'm guilty. Guilty? Is that what you want to hear?
You admit you poisoned the king?
No. Of that I'm innocent. I'm guilty of a far more monstrous crime. I'm guilty of being a dwarf.
You are not on trial for being a dwarf.
Oh, yes I am. I've been on trial for that my entire life.
Have you nothing to say in your defense?
Nothing but this. I did not do it. I did not kill Joffrey, but I wish that I had. Watching your vicious bastard die gave me more relief than 1,000 lying whores. I wish I was the monster you think I am. I wish I had enough poison for the whole pack of you. I would gladly give my life to watch you all swallow it.
Sir Meryn! Sir Meryn! Escort the prisoner back to his cell.
I will not give my life for Joffrey's murder, and I know I'll get no justice here, so I will let the gods decide my fate.
But see, this is kind of an interesting portrayal of our justice system if you think about it. Because like I said, he sat there and this
Family first will always... Tyrion of the House Lannister. You stand accused by the Queen Regent of regicide.
No. Killed a few puppies today. Of wolf.
So now what they're doing is every little thing that Tyrion has said to Joffrey, they are bringing it up in trial to prove that he did this murder. Because the way he treated Joffrey.
Sign, poetry, or...
Writers can't insult me! The fish is in my hands, you snot in my handful. If she know.
Not that I know his pigeon pie.
So you would blame the bakers?
Or the pigeons, just leave me out of it.
The Crown may call its first witness.
What is the meaning of this? Girl, the kind who serves his king, imp.
Careful now. We don't want to...
She's to be your queen. Fight her brother's battle, you half-wit.
Can't talk to me like that. The king can do as he likes.
The Mad King did as he liked. Has your Uncle Jaime ever told you what happened to him? No one threatens his grace in the presence of the King's Guard. I'm not threatening the king, sir. I am educating my nephew. Bronn, the next time Sir Meryn speaks, kill him. That was rounded on him. He slapped the king across the face and called him a vicious idiot and a fool. Up those steps and called our king a halfwit. Compared his grace to the Mad King and suggested he'd meet the same fate. And when I spoke in the king's defense, he threatened to have me killed.
Oh, why don't you tell them what Joffrey was doing? Pointing a loaded crossbow at Sansa Stark while you tore...
This is where their justice system goes wrong. They're allowed to talk about what Tyrion said to Joffrey and Meryn Trant, but Tyrion is not allowed to say what provoked this, which is he's now going to tell you, but they don't care. They don't care that Joffrey was a sadistic little monster about to unalive or just beat Sansa Stark. Their only key to getting Jaime back.
Pull out her clothes and beat her.
Silence! You will not speak unless called upon.
See, it is not taken into account what Joffrey did. This is where our system is completely 100% unfair.
Looks good on you.
Am I enjoying it?
I was very happy as Hand of the King.
Yes, fall into my bed.
It wasn't your...
To advise the king. You chose to drinking with thieves.
Occasionally, I drank with the harlots.
What do you want, Tyrion?
Why does everyone assume I want something? Can't I simply visit with my beloved father? Somehow forgot to visit his wounded son after he fell on the battlefield. When the enemies were at the gate, while your grandson, the king, quivered in fear behind the walls. I bled in the mud for our family. And as my reward, I was trundled off to some dark little cell. But what do I want? A little bloody gratitude would be a start.
Field. Sweet sleep, tears of Lys, demons dance, blind eye.
I think you have made your point, Grand Maester. You have a lot of
Wars were plundered. By whom? Imprisoned.
Well, thank you, my lord.
Forge new alliance.
Many. With these plans, but the Queen mustn't know. I can't have her meddling in affairs that could determine the future of the realm. There's too much.
And a servant. He knew that served. Was found on the body of Dontos Hollard, the king's fool. He was last seen spiriting Sansa Stark, the wife of the accused, away from the feast. She wore this necklace the day of the wedding.
Uh-oh, they found the necklace.
The most rare and terrible poison was found inside.
Was this one of the poisons stolen from your store?
It was. The Strangler. Poison few in the Seven Kingdoms possess. And used to strike down the most noble child the gods ever put on this good earth.
Say! Happy, and your joy will turn to ashes in your...
Your own brother said this to you.
To put Joffrey on the front. Joffrey plans on...
Fighting are off fighting.
This sort of thing. Some don't. His place is not on the battlefield.
It's not on the throne either. Sadly...
Remaining at the battlements, he...
Tyrion said, and you will know the debt is paid.
Yeah, see, he's not getting to say what happened over the course of a couple weeks that led up to this conversation between him and Cersei. This is how our court systems work, guys. This is just how they work. And I'm just kind of showing you, if you watch stuff like Game of Thrones, this is closely accurate to, except for these are 3 judges. This is what an appeal might look like.
What did?
I discovered he'd been keeping...
Because in an appeal, you're in front of judges, whereas a regular trial, you're in front of 12 strangers that got plucked off the street one day. They got a phone call or they got a piece of thing in the mail saying, look, jury duty for you.
Keeping whores in the Tower of the Hand. I asked him to confine his salacious acts to the brothel where such behavior belongs. He wasn't pleased.
Thank you, Your Grace, for the courage of your testimony.
Write back to Lord Frey. Thank him for his service and command him to send Robb Stark's head. I'm going to serve it to Sansa at my wedding feast.
Your Grace, Lady Sansa is your aunt by marriage.
A joke? Joffrey did not mean it.
Yes, I did. I'm going to have it served to Sansa at my wedding feast.
No. She is no longer yours to torment.
Everyone is mine to torment. You do well to remember that, you little monster.
Oh, I'm a monster. Perhaps you should speak to me more softly then. Monsters are
I'm afraid
dangerous.
I do, my lord, and dangerous. Small. He didn't seem gladdened by the news. Perhaps his marriage to Sansa Stark had made him more sympathetic to the Northern cause.
You're excused, Lord Varys.
Father, may I ask the witness one question?
One.
There are many who know that without you, this city faced certain defeat. The king won't give you any honors. The histories won't mention you. But we will not forget.
You once said that without me, the city would have faced certain defeat. You said the histories would never mention me, but you would not forget. Have you forgotten, Lord Varys?
Sadly, my lord, I never forget a thing.
But he's not allowed to say anything nice about Tyrion, so that's the bad part about our trial is nobody ever gets on that stand and says anything nice about the defendant. It is all 199%. It is 1,000,000% negative. That is what trial is about. They bring out every worst. Can you imagine sitting there on the stand and maybe your daily life consists of you wake up, your children are ready for school, you go volunteer at the school, you make cookies, you go to church on Sunday, you help out your fellow church members, you go to, and you live in a small town and you go to any little party that they're having at the small town. You mingle with everybody in the community. You meet new people all the time. You mingle with them at parks. You go to parks, you play with parents and their children and you meet them. Or you meet people at the park that you already know and you sit down and chat with them while you watch your child play. And that's your daily activity because you're a good person. Or you go to work and you work hard every day. Whatever you do, you come home, you spend time with your family, you go to the park in on the evenings and weekends with your kids. You do, you go to church on Sunday, you watch all your, you baptize your kids, you watch all of them do all of their stuff they need to do. You're a good person because your everyday life, when you wake up every morning, you don't wake up and say, what bad am I going to do today? What theft am I going to do today? What evil deed will come my way today? No, you wake up every morning with a positive attitude going, okay, new day, gonna take my kids to school today, and then I'm gonna check the calendar and see what's happening, and we're gonna do something today when they get home. And so you get charged with something one day, you go to court, there's a huge stack of evidence against you, and ever since the day you turned 18, every bad thing you've done is in that file. And so if you're in your 30s or your 40s, you got a couple of decades worth of, can anybody be perfect in 2 decades? Because you can't even look at people like I'm sitting here trying to think. There's so many examples out there that, and as I think my mind just clears, It's like every time I think of something that is bad, it clears another thing away till there's just a blank slate of nothingness. And so you go out there and you sit on trial, and for the last 2 or more decades, they're going to pull up every bad deed you have done. Every bad deed. Every courthouse you have gone to. Every bad deed you've done. You got in an argument with your husband outside. Cops got called. Boom. It's on the record. You send your kid to school with the same shirt 2 days in a row because they really want to wear that shirt. They don't want to change it. Boom. You're a bad mom. Your kid went next door to their friend's house and they weren't home. So your kid just sat in their front yard. Boom. You're a bad mom. Because you thought they were playing. You didn't know she was just sitting there by herself. I mean, they pull up literally all these little tiny itty bitty details. Every itty bitty detail over as many years as they can. And then they lay it all in front of the judge. And they make you plead innocent or guilty to all of that stuff that they just laid in front of the judge. And how are you supposed to plead innocent? Our system is screwed up. And then once you plead guilty, it's called adjudicating. Once you adjudicate all of that, you're screwed. Because now you're going to trial and more negative stuff will be said about you. You are not allowed to say anything negative about the prosecution table or anything negative that they did to get you there. If they lied to get you into that courtroom, you're not allowed to say it. If you... Hey, Chrissy. That little poncho is so cute. Poncho. Oh, that I'm wearing? Oh, thank you. It gets cold in here. My hands are cold. It gets cold in here. Keep my hands and arms warm while I stream. And that's our justice system. And if you watch this Game of Thrones one, I like it because, of course, it's a little exaggerated, but the basis of it is there. The courtroom where you stand there, and they're going to pull up every little thing that Tyrion has done and said in a moment. In a normal, natural moment when he thought that everything was okay and nothing was wrong. Like joking with Joffrey about you killing the animals today. I mean, he almost harpooned a couple of whores, okay? He had them beat and sent back to Tyrion. And yeah. And so we can...
We will adjourn for now.
Going there. Formal plea for mercy and ask to be sent to the wall. Father's agreed to it. He'll spare your life and allow you to join the Night's Watch.
My love.
And I love it when Tyrion finally blows up like this. But you blow up like this in court, your lawyer is going to shut you up and drag you out. You are not allowed to blow up with the truth. You are not allowed to just scream out the truth and the unfairness of the courts. Because I was screaming in the hallways of the court, and my lawyer told me, you can scream at me all you want, but once we get in that courtroom, she's like, smile. Just smile. That's all you gotta do, is you sit there and you smile at the judge.
I should have let Stannis kill you all.
Tyrion! Do you wish to confess?
Yes, Father. I'm guilty. Guilty? Is that what you want to hear?
Do you admit you poisoned the king?
No. Of that I'm innocent. I'm guilty of a far more monstrous crime. I'm guilty of being a dwarf.
You are not.
And see, that's what it really is all about in our justice system. The innocent stand up there and they wonder what they're really guilty of. Tyrion knows it's because these people have looked down on him for being a dwarf. So they've always been watching him, going, all right, when's he going to commit a crime and we can execute this guy? Because he's avoided unaliving his whole life. And yeah, this is what I wish you could do in court. I wish you could just stand up and let it all out. And just get court done and over with. So everybody can go sit on those court steps today. I hope it's good weather, because it is bad weather. It is cold. It is freezing here in Utah. I would not go protest today. Not today. Not on this cold day. I mean, everybody, you guys can go protest, go have fun, whatever. The thing is, though, he confessed. And you can tell the way when they interrogated Stephanie, she wasn't in it to fight for her son's innocence. She gave up so easily in that interrogation. All she said was, well, he was a good boy, but that beast changed him. She did not stand up and fight and try and get Nick and everybody to prove that Gypsy did more than just supplying the weapons. But yeah, that's our justice system in a nutshell, guys. What else was I going to talk about today? Is that it that I was going to talk about? Just talk about that. I mean, the only other thing you really talk about is the dang pregnancy, which is kind of dumb. She might really be pregnant for real. She might really be having a baby. We'll see. All we can do is sit and wait and see when it's born. If it's born in early January, into December, early January, watch, it'll be born the day she got out of prison on the 1 year marker. It'll be born on that day. It'll be born on December 28th, 2024, exactly 1 year after Gypsy was released. The baby will be released from the womb, the prison it is in. That would be hysterical if she went and had the baby on her Freedom Day. But yeah, I guess maybe I'll just let you guys go. But I just wanted to kind of, I guess, touch down on the court case and the justice system again, because I've been watching Game of Thrones and thinking about how to show you guys how the justice system really does work. Nick had a fair trial. They gave him a plea deal that he didn't take, that most murderers don't get. You see Sarah Boone getting a plea deal? Nobody's handing Sarah Boone a plea deal. Because when you are pretty much caught, they did give him a plea deal because of the extenuating circumstances of Gypsy, yes, manipulating him to get here and do the unaliving. And he didn't take the plea deal because he wanted the same plea deal as Gypsy. But unless he wasn't going to get the same deal as Gypsy, unless he proved that Gypsy did half the jobs. If he would just prove that, he might got a better deal, or Gypsy would have the same deal as him right now. They'd both be in for manslaughter or something for now. Like the Menendez brothers, who are getting out, who the murders were done by the CIA, I guess. Oh my gosh. We're going to get into some CIA murders later. But that one was done by the CIA. And that's probably true because the murder weapons and stuff and everything is gone. Everything is gone. But Nick technically got his fair trial. They put up witnesses. I would have done some better cross-examinations if I was his lawyers, especially on Gypsy. I would have contested about 95% of the things she said because they were untrue. But like I said, we also have the we're streamers, and so this is looking back on hindsight. We got the whole case in front of us, every ounce of the case. And if you were to turn this case over to the district's attorney, say there's 500 boxes, they'd probably whittle it down to 20 boxes. Okay? That's what they do. They're not going to bring in 500 boxes and have a 6-month court date for people to go to. People have got to live their lives. Okay, so anyways, I guess I'm going to go lay down for a little while, but I just thought maybe I'll come back later tonight after I get a nap, and we'll kind of, I guess, see if people are rallying up around Nick, which is, I don't, I think it's just a waste of time, because do you really want Nick free? People also are going up and down on that, because Gypsy did ruin him. He is manipulatable. He's not exactly sorry that he did it, because he would do it again in a different way. So he's not even remorseful enough to say she deserves to be alive. I wouldn't do. I wouldn't. I mean, he did in his interrogation say she was a good person, but at that moment he was feeling guilty for unaliving her. But now that he's had time to think, he's like, nah, she needs to be unalived, but I just would have done it differently. I would have done it way differently this time. And he's just like, whatever. But I love you guys. We'll see you later. Thanks for coming and joining my stream. And hopefully I kind of gave you a good picture of what it is like to be in the justice system now. Kind of gave you a little bit better of a picture for those of you who have not been in the justice system, kind of what it is like to be in there. It is horrible, because you sit there on the defendant's table and you hear nothing but 99% negative stuff about you. The only positive things you hear about you come from your lawyer, and they don't say enough to counteract all the negative that gets spewed and spit at you and gets sent to the judge. The judge gets a pile of negativity while you get a couple compliments from your lawyer. And they go home and they read on the case, and all they read, when I had to read on my case when I was a CASA volunteer, and it was a month and a half before I met the mother, and all I knew is what she was like on paper. And I met her aunt, and her aunt had nothing but bad things to say about her. I thought, oh my gosh, this woman. And the second she walked in the door and I took one look at her, this isn't a bad person, because I know what a bad person looks like. And she was a bright, shiny, beautiful woman. And I immediately dropped all things that I thought about her being bad or anything. I dropped all. I was like, I have been around bad drug people. These guys are not bad drug people. These guys are good people that got mixed up in a bad situation. That's all I'm going to say, is that they're good people mixed up in a bad situation. People look bad. If you just read paper, people look bad. It's like when you go to a job interview and the buddy next to you only writes down 1 or 2 past jobs while you write down 10 past jobs. You think he's going to get the job, not me, because I have 10 and he has 2. How do you feel? That's what court is like. You don't get to go explain to the employer why you have 10 and they only have 2. You don't. You get to sit there, and when the verdict comes back, did you get the job or not? Yes or no. And when they say no, you get disappointed, because why? It was explainable. Everything is explainable. All right, well, I love you guys. You guys have a good day. Double check all the facts, okay? Because Becca Scoops left out that fact that the plan that she was 1000% good with could have been the pregnancy plan, because she did make a pregnancy video, instructional video, where to get pregnant the night of June 9th. All right, love you guys.